Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, this is your instructor Aisha Hussain Khan and I welcome you here in the 7th lecture of Intro to Software Engineering, and the lecture topic is Scrum. It will be discussed under Agile Development. So here we have a look on the summary of previous lecture, in which we have learned that what is agility and cost of change, like what is the impact of change on cost. And we compare the conventional models with the agile model. Then we have a look on agile principles. And finally, we talk about the agile development model approach. Now today's outline include the following topics. That is, we'll first cover the different agile models. We will see the list of agile models that are available. Then we will have a look on ASD graph, that is Agile Software Development Model Graphs. And then finally, we will have a detailed discussion on Scrum model and its various components like Scrum roles and Scrum artifacts. So here we have list of models that come under Agile Software Development, and in short we can say it as ASD models. This list includes Scrum, then we have XP, that is Extreme Programming, then we have Lean Software Process Model, we have FDD, that is Feature Driven Development Model, and finally ASD, that is Adaptive Software Development. In this lecture, we will focus on our first model, that is Scrum. Now this graph is basically showing you the ratio of use of different agile models. Here we can see that Scrum is showing us the highest percentage of respondents as compared to other agile models. Then we significantly can see that XP and other models have their role in the development. So according to this vision, we can see that the Scrum and XP models play the major roles under agile development. And in the current scenario, we have certain other models, that is Lean Software Development, that is trending in market as well. So starting with Scrum, we have the following outline. We first have a look on Scrum description, then what are basically the Scrum rules and the Scrum artifacts. Before starting with Scrum description, I will ask you people to recall all the agile principles we have learned in our previous lecture, as all those points will be reflected here in the same manner. Like you can see here that it is an iterative incremental framework for project management that is often seen in agile software development. Then we can define a set of activities that can help your team deliver more value to the customers. We already seen that it is a team-oriented approach and our main focus is to satisfy our customers. Then you can provide your customers with the opportunity to review, guide, and influence your team's work as it progresses. Finally, does not attempt to define everything at the start of the project. This is very important feature, that you need not to maintain all the requirements beforehand. You can add the requirements with the passage of time. So this slide is presenting the complete breakdown of a Scrum model, which basically comprises of roles. Then we have time boxes, artifacts, and finally the rules that are necessary to bind the model together. We will learn these concepts in our coming slides stepwise. The Scrum roles. We have three major roles in our Scrum model. First is Scrum Master, then we have a team, then we have a product owner, or you can say a stakeholder or a customer. So we will learn the specification for each rule in our coming slides. The Scrum Master. In the Scrum process, we can consider the Scrum Master that has a role of coach, a fixer, or you can say a gatekeeper. The job of the Scrum Master is to make sure that the project is progressing smoothly. Here you can consider him as a project manager because he is basically focusing on the overall progress of your development. And he sets the meetings, monitors the work, and facilitates the release planning. You can summarize it as in these two main points, that is, he will protect the team from outside disturbance, and then he will clear the ways for team by helping them to solve their problems by having different means, like he will schedule meetings between the development team or between the customer and the developers to rule out the problems. Now the second major role is of the Scrum team. We will consider this team as it is basically comprised of cross-functional members. Why I'm saying cross-functional? Because they are of multiple domains that are working together. Like we have the software engineers, we have architects, then we have programmers, analysts, quality assurance experts, then we have testers and user interface designers, etc. It is basically recommended that all team members should be located in the same room, that is known as a team room. And the team has the autonomy to determine how and when to complete its work. That is basically this team is fully independent in their decisions. And as long as the team finishes its work by the deadline and under the budget, it is entirely up to the team to determine how that happens. The ultimate constraints are of deadline and the budget, and rest is all defined by the team members themselves. Now finally, we have the product owner role. In Scrum, the product owner is the person who is basically responsible for a project's success. You can think of him as a person who is basically putting all the requirements in the context of software development, like a customer or the stakeholder. And then the product owner outlines the work in the product backlog. Backlog is basically the collection of all the requirements. Product owner makes sure that the right features are to be included in the product backlog. And finally, we can see that he or she must also consider the stakeholders to make sure that their interests are included in the particular release, and the team to make sure that the release is developed by the deadline and within the budget. So these two are the important concerns, that they have to take all the stakeholders with them and along with the budget and deadlines. Our second major aspect is to consider the Scrum artifacts after Scrum roles. And these artifacts include product backlog, we have sprint backlog, sprint, and finally the burn down chart. We will study these topics in our coming slides. So starting with the first artifact, that is product backlog, we can see that it contains all the currently known requirements for a product, or you can say that it is an ordered list of requirements and is managed by product owner. Also, it is very important to know that it can be changed as needed. So all the requirements, this figure is showing you the product backlog view, that it contains all the requirements. Secondly, we have sprint backlog. You can consider a sprint as a subset of the previous product backlog. And this is the formal definition given here, that it contains the set of prioritized product backlog items that are currently being worked on. So these are the separate sets named as Sprint 1, Sprint 2, Sprint 3 and Sprint 4, all having a set of functionalities provided in the product backlog. So this will divide the work and give you the opportunity to build the product in short iterations. So having a closer look at what a sprint is, we can see that in this phase, the product is developed in a series of 1 to 4 weeks, that is known as an iteration or a sprint. So these two terms can be used synonymously, and you can see that in a sprint, we need to have a subset that is established in a time period of 1 to 4 weeks. And before a sprint is begun, a sprint planning meeting is held, that is used to determine what features are to be implemented in that sprint. A very important aspect, and it requires a technical skill that you need to find out the set of requirements that should be established in the early sprint periods and then the later one. So the sprint has 4 major steps. First is it develop the product further, implement, test and document. And then secondly, we wrap up the work, get it ready to be evaluated and integrated. Integrated because the different sprints then at the end will combine to make the final product. And then we have review the work done in this sprint. Finally, the review committee will follow the review process, and then we have adjust for any changes in requirements or plan, a very important aspect for agile models. And then this ultimately will result in an incremental delivery of a usable product. Now this figure is showing you the pictorial representation of a sprint. And here we can see a sprint cycle in which we first start from the product backlog, that is the complete list of requirements given by the user, and then this product backlog is converted into sprint backlog, where the different functionalities results in number of sets, and these are the features to be done in the particular sprint, and further these features are expanded into smaller tasks, you can say. And with it now you can see that it has a complete cycle of 1 period that will be called as a sprint, and at the end you will get with the new functionality that is demonstrated at the end of each sprint. And also you can see here a work day, basically a cycle of 1 day. You need to have a closer look, or you need to gain different sides throughout the development. Now here is the last artifact, that is sprint burn down chart. Sprint burn down chart is basically used to monitor the progress or the amount of work done throughout the sprint life cycle. Here is the formal definition given, that the estimated work remaining in the sprint is calculated daily and graphed. That results in sprint burn down chart. And the graph is showing you the hours of effort remaining for the sprint on its vertical axis, whereas the days are displayed on the horizontal axis. Like here you can see in the next slide that the remaining efforts are being presented on vertical axis, while the days are being shown on the horizontal axis. And final point is basically showing you the behavior of burn down chart, that it is supposed to be shown by the line of descent from the start of the sprint with the starting hours and down to the end of the sprint with no hours remaining. Here the descent basically is showing you the drop in graph or the fall in graph. I can show you here that we are talking about the ideal burn down chart here, that it will show you the maximum number of efforts remaining in the start of time and with the 0 efforts remaining at the end of the sprint, making sure that the deadline is completed. So and here also you can see the other lines that are basically showing you the remaining efforts. This line is giving you the remaining efforts. We actually want this line to be as close as to the ideal burn curve, so as to get close to the working plan. And here we can also see that these orange bars are basically showing you the completed tasks on the respective days. So this ideal burn down chart is need to be followed throughout the sprint phase, and this will ensure the performance. And now coming to the last and important section of Scrum model, that is Scrum meetings. We have number of different meetings that are conducted throughout the Scrum model. First is release planning meeting, then we have sprint planning meeting, sprint review meeting, sprint retrospective meeting, and finally the daily Scrum meeting. So we're starting with our first meeting, that is release planning. In release planning, we basically want to convert our product backlog to its refined version, that is known as a released backlog. Here you can see that this product backlog passes through different stages to reach its final form. First, we take the view of release backlog, that is having the most important requirements that are being placed by the customer and the stakeholders. Having these requirements, then we move to the next step, in which we prioritize the requirements according to the nature of a product and the necessities defined by the user. And further, the prioritized backlog is being converted into the backlog which contains the number of hours that are required to implement or to construct each and every functionality. You can see here that these are the different time mentioned to implement the said functionality. Now in the second phase of release planning meeting, we see that we will convert this release backlog into various sprints that are basically being reflected in different iterations that will be delivered to customer within a time frame of 1 to 4 weeks. And we name them as sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3 and sprint 4. These sprints will contain the set of different requirements being segregated from the main backlog. Now the second meeting is sprint planning meeting, in which we will see that this meeting is done at the beginning of a sprint where the sprint is being planned. And secondly, the items from the product backlog are selected basically to be completed in the sprint based on the priorities set by the product owner. And this meeting will last for 8 hours, in which first 4 hours is between the negotiation is between the product owner and the team members. That is, it is a dialogue for prioritizing the product backlog. And the second 4 hours, basically, this will be done among the team members only, and they are basically finding out the plan to complete the sprint, that is basically to finalize the sprint backlog. Now we will see sprint review meeting. As the name indicates, it involves the review process. And this review process basically takes an account of the work that is completed and also that is not completed. That is, it will focus on the work progress and also the failures that are faced during the development. And it will present the completed work to the customers or stakeholders. Also, incomplete work, it cannot demonstrate the incomplete work. And it is basically having the 4 hours limit. Now, sprint retrospective meeting. Retrospective means to reflect back. And in this scenario, we basically have a meeting that is time boxed to 3 hours, that will last for basically 3 hours. And it is attended only by the team, the Scrum Master, and the product owner. The product owner in this case is optional. Also, the focus of this type of meeting is continuous process improvement. And it will start the meeting by having all the team members answer the following 2 questions. First is, what went well during the sprint? That is, actually they are focusing on the success parameters. And what could be improved in the next sprint? That is, learning from the mistakes and having the improvement aspect included in the development process and endorsed by the users and development team. Now finally, we have daily Scrum meeting. This is also known as a brief stand-up meeting that is conducted each morning with the Scrum team only. And this lasts for 15 minutes. That's why we are saying it as a brief or a stand-up meeting. And basically these 3 questions need to be answered by the individuals of the team. That what value did you add yesterday? Basically, what targets have you already achieved? And secondly, what value will you add today? That is, you are basically marking up the today's objectives. And finally, the last question, that is, what will stop you making progress? That is, what are the desired goals or what are the end objectives that will yield to the final product? So students, in my next lecture, I will focus on other agile methodologies like extreme programming and adaptive software development.